Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, I'm really excited to welcome back to the show Robin McAuley. We're going to talk all about his newest upcoming solo album, Alive, as well as all of his plans for the year 2023. It's always a lot of fun to have Robin on the show, and I can tell you this episode is no exception. I know you guys are going to really enjoy it, so let's jump in and let's get started. Hey, Robin, I just want to welcome you back to the show. It's an honor to have you back. Before we talk about the new album, I just want to wish you a happy belated birthday. It must be nice. It was a big one. Finally, you hit 21 this year. Congratulations.
I've always wanted to be 21 because there's so much freedom.
That's right. I hope you got to enjoy the birthday and do some fun things for yourself.
I had a great time with my wife and the two boys and their girlfriends. It was awesome.
That is great.
Just like I wanted it.
Good. That is great. I'm happy to hear that. And now you've got some more exciting news coming. February 17th, your latest solo album, Alive, is about to drop.
Thank
So
you.
you're a veteran of the music scene. Do you still get excited when you have a new album coming out?
You know, I just still love what I do. And I'm especially excited about this. I like the direction we went, a little edgier. I love the production on it. And I think the songs are great, and I think we'll get a chance to take it live this year also, which is even more exciting. So,
oh well, that's good. I was going to ask you about that, but let's touch on that first right now. So, you think there'll be some live shows for you this year?
Well, maybe not here immediately, but Frontiers are relaunching their festivals that they normally do. I think they started in Sweden already, and we will hit Milan later in the year. And my intention is, because the band will be up and running, that we can branch out and do some more shows in Europe. And I would love to take it in here too. So I just need to find a promoter who wants to take it on.
Oh, that's exciting news, at least for the European fans, and us American fans will keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the band, right? So I know on the album, it's the same band with you, this album compared to the last one, right? So,
yeah.
And you said this one's a little bit of a harder edge. So talk about the difference between the last album and this one.
Well, I kind of procrastinated before I started recording Standing on the Edge. I thought, who wants to hear this? What would I do? And so the label were going, well, why don't we get a little bit of everything that you've done up to date? So, I touched base with some of my Grand Prix friends back from the days, and some of the people who wrote for Survivor and that sort of stuff. And we got it done, and the reception was great. And this time around, I said to Alessandra, I said, I definitely want to use the guys. Andrea Cerveso is just such a great guitar player. Nicholas Papapico just kills on the drums. Alessandro in a production, he does so much for the Survivor, for Frontiers with all of the other bands. He still manages to make me sound a little bit different for our direction, which is what I really like. And so we decided we would, kick it a little bit harder this time, a little more edgier songs. I love where it went. I just still love what I do. I got really excited about the prospect when I think Alive was one of the first songs that I wrote, and in the midst of that, lyrically and with the melody, I was already sort of designing the record cover.
That's
in
awesome.
my head.
Now you mentioned the guys on the album with you. Would those be the same guys if you do live shows that'll be with you at the live? Oh, that's awesome.
The plan. That's the plan.
Awesome.
Yeah. I won't do it if they don't play.
Okay, there you go. All right. So they have to, now that the
Yeah,
pressure's
yeah.
on.
And they're looking forward to it. So that's in my court. That's great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned before procrastinating on your last solo album, which I find it amazing to hear you say that, because to me, the last 4 years, you've had a bit of a resurgence, I'm going to say, right? You've had 4 albums, be it solo albums, Black Swan albums.
Right.
This is not what quote unquote classic rock artists do at this point in their career. So, where are you finding this energy from? And why is it so important to you to keep releasing so much new music at this point in your career?
Oh, I don't place importance on it at all.
Hmm.
Um, um, when the Black Swan Shake the World came out, the first one, I was, people would say, so where do you think you are with the best things you've done? And I said to so many people, it's the best album I ever made. And then people would go, oh, really? You think it's the best album? Why, right? And I suppose having time to sit back from the excitement of it, um, I came back by saying, I think the last thing that you do should be the best thing that you've ever done.
Absolutely.
Right? Because why put so much effort into it? And uh, I love the Black Swan band. I love the project. I think it's awesome. And when we finished the first one, the label came to me and they said, hey, it'd be a great idea now, if your head's in the right place, since you didn't want to do the solo before this, to keep the momentum would be to segue into finally getting this solo record done. And so I did, and I was really surprised at how well received it was. And then before I knew it, Jeff Pilson is going, hey, ready for Black Swan #2. And so we're back in the woodshed getting Generation Mind out, which got an even better reception than the first one. So we're going, wow, who'd have thunk it, right?
Right.
And no sooner was Generation Mind done, I had European festivals with Schenker. I was in Bolivia, I was in Bulgaria, I was in Mexico, and I met Alessandro in Sweden, one of the Swedish festivals, and I said, I was supposed to deliver this to you in June for mixing, and he goes, yeah. And I said, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's too, I'm late. It's already May, right? And he has a lot to do. He goes, don't worry, I have a lot to do too. So I'm late for what I'm doing. So I came back and got into it, and I think I submitted it to him as late as November.
Wow.
And the first single, the title track, hit YouTube about 3 weeks ago or something like that.
Yep.
Second single came out last week, Feel Like Hell,
Yep.
with a video, and a cool video. And February 17th, we'll get this thing out the door.
The whole
And
album.
yeah, and there
How do
you
you
have it.
choose what singles to release? Like, so how do you go through that process? Because today, to me, it's so important. People don't have big attention spans these days, right? So if you don't lead with solid singles, they're not going to pay attention to a full album. That's what I feel like. So how do you choose these songs as the lead singles for the album?
While I got the music for Alive and I started writing the melodies and the lyrics, I knew to me immediately, I went, this is definitely a single. I would like to use this title as the album title, and everything else kind of fell around it. And when I told the label about it, first I told Alessandro, he goes, absolutely. With all of the demos we've got, this is such a powerful lead off track. When we started shooting the video, it's hard to shoot a video one guy, right?
Sure.
There's nobody to lean on, nobody to support. It's just you, and you're going, what do I do with myself? Same video director we use on the Black Swan stuff, Eric Badello. Same awesome photographer, Enzo Mazio. And they're really good and very receptive of my wacky ideas, and that's very fortunate for me. And when we started shooting the video for Alive, he goes, well, what do we do? Lots of light. I mean, he said, it's like one big chorus. So, and then we decided that when we'd hit the chorus, we'd bring those lights up really strong. And the whole title centered around me my love of old vampire movies and old Frankenstein movies.
Mm.
And so I wanted to create this sort of Frankenstein electrical charge back into the music, into me,
Mhm.
into what's going on around us. Everybody seems to be so pissed off and negative and disrespectful.
So
And
true.
and I thought, we are resilient, very. And no matter what you throw the kitchen sink at me, we'll find our way through the fog. And that's kind of what it was about, you
Right,
know.
right, right.
And Feel Like Hell, I took that a different, because when I go from one song to the next,
Sure.
I'm already in my next mode of thought.
Mhm.
And so we shot that in Hollywood Boulevard really late at night, freezing our asses off.
Mm.
And it came out great. It's like a mini
It
horror
did.
movie.
It did. Now, I mean, so to hear you talking about this, sounds like you have fun still doing videos, because that's one of the things. I mean, we know we grew up in an age where MTV and videos was such a big thing. Now, if you don't go searching for it on YouTube, you might not ever know a band put out or an artist put out a video. But do you still look forward to doing videos, and do you still have fun doing videos?
Oh, it's a blast. It's hilarious.
That's what I'm
It's
hearing
hilarious.
as you tell us.
I mean, it's fun because I think, well, I think too many people take it really too serious, and you won't find too many photos of me standing up against a wall posing. I hate all of that
Mhm.
sort of stuff. I want to do something, hang me off a tree or something, I just don't want to be. And uh, um, when we shot this stuff, I said to Enzo, the photographer, I said, because I want to follow this alive, this electrical charge thing, and we started coming up with the idea of doing a lot in post production, So we'd start off, with the charge here and start pulling it out and pulling it out, and
Mhm.
and it was so much fun doing it
Right.
that I went, a little bit of the old Frankenstein thing in the
Yeah.
laboratory. That's why we created the album cover to look like it does,
Yep.
and and anybody who knows me knows I don't take anything too serious. There has to be a little tongue in cheek and a little fun. I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself, right?
That is very true. So then let me ask you this. Listen, I got an advance of the album. I thought it was great. One of my favorite songs is the last one on the album, Who I Am. So
Oh,
twenty twenty
interesting.
three. My question to you is, who's Robin McAuley now in 2023?
Ah, ah. I have no idea who that guy is. He's when one of my sisters sent me a birthday card. She goes, "Well, this is the big one." She said, "But why don't, the way I see it is you're 18 with 52 years experience."
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
So I guess that's who I am. I'm 18 still in my head. Um, and uh, you know, people have different perceptions of you, different ideas, that
Yep.
guy's a real asshole or whatever. And um, I like everything to be a little humorous. Um, I think we all have a story, Mike,
Yep.
right?
True.
And
Oh, very
I
true.
think we all have a little story, no matter where it comes from or where it even goes, for that matter.
Yep.
And I guess when I was writing it, you know, you think I'm this, but that's not who I am. And you think
Hmm.
I'm that, but that's not who I am. And you think this, and it's like sometimes I wake up in the morning going, well, what's your plan for the day? Actually, what am I doing? And actually, who am I? Why am I
Hmm.
doing that? And I think it's just a question.
Hmm. Well, I
And
love it.
I don't really want to answer the question, and at all.
Fair enough. Well,
Otherwise,
yeah.
if I tell you who I am tomorrow, I have to change my mind every
Oh, well,
time.
we don't want that. We don't. So, you touched a little bit on the songwriting for this album. So, what was the songwriting process like for these songs on this album?
Yeah, I'm lousy playing guitar. You
Okay.
know, I have so much music here, and I have so much music because I'm a frustrated drummer. Um, and so working closely with the people I work with, they pretty much kind of know the rabbit hole I'm going to go down into. And we decided it was going to be a little edgier, a little symphonic sometimes, a little touches of this. And so we hit that. When I get the music, they just throw a barrel of songs at me.
Right.
So I get a
Okay.
barrel of music. One of my, excuse me, major high on the criteria for me is I don't want any lead solos. I don't want anything
Okay.
finished. I want a very, very, very basic bass drums and rhythm guitar track. I don't want to hear anything else over the top because it leaves me very open for melody.
Sure.
As long as I can hear what the guitar, I would take an acoustic guitar all by itself and I'd be
Mm.
happy with
Right.
that. And I love playing with the melodies, and I sit with my laptop. Um, I work a lot on a very simple program with GarageBand. It's super easy,
Hmm.
and I run multiple tracks, and I just have a blank sheet of paper, and I start, and I'm always in record,
Right.
and I dump 99% of the stuff, and I keep that one little piece. So I hear everything. I listen to the songs so many times before I even attempt to write, and then suddenly it'll be right there. And so the process is them sending me a barrel load of songs. I'll pick the 12, tell Alessandro what I'm going to do, and he goes, do it.
Mm.
And I leave the gate open for him to make changes and or suggestions. He didn't make any suggestions. I was kind of pissed off. I was hoping I was hoping he would tell me something, but he goes, "This is great. I love it. This is you. This is what you do. That's what we need." And then I usually do all the vocals, all the backing vocals, and like the Black Swan records, I usually pull my son Casey in, and
Yep.
he loves to be in the studio, and so he joins me on 3, 4, 5 songs, and we have a blast. And he
That's what
busts
it's
my
all about.
he'd
That's
bust my
awesome.
balls in the studio.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I said before that I think my favorite song so far on the album is Who I Am.
Wow.
Putting the singles to the side, right? Alive and Feel Like Hell. Put them to the
Yeah.
side. Do you have any songs that stand out to you as favorites?
Oh, I love the title track.
Mhm.
I really love the title track. We were having a toss up if we would use Endless Mile as the third single
Yep.
or the power ballad.
Okay.
And then the label was going, everybody kind of knows you for the power ballad. We'll stick with the power ballad.
Okay.
Endless Mile came about with just the news media and the war in Ukraine. And I thought, oh my God, I just woke up one morning knowing I was going to start working on that. And I'm going, what about all those poor displaced people? And I just had this
Mm,
vision of all of these people walking across the border into Poland,
mm,
women and children freezing cold.
sure.
And I'm going, how blessed am I? And I just conjured up this lyric of we all at some point seem to walk that endless mile, but at some point we're able to turn it around,
Hmm.
head back in the direction from whence we came. And I suppose, we hold out hope, and we're messed up in the world right now. There's so much crap going on. I love Bless Me Father. It's
Okay.
a little introspective,
Yep.
because, we all have a confession. and,
So
and
true.
and I brought the lyrics in the chorus into, it's not always black and white.
Mm.
Somebody goes, if you did good, dude, you wouldn't have to put up with this shit. And it's not always that easy because you never mean to do bad per
Cross
se,
it. Right.
right?
Yep.
And
So
so,
true.
how many times have you said, "Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'll never do that again. I'll
Hmm.
never do it again."
Yep.
And then it's a split second thought, and you're going, huh, "I'm doing it again."
Right.
and,
Oh
and
man.
and that's really where I go with my ideas. And then I move to the next song, and I don't know what I'm singing about next. I don't know, but I
Well,
try to keep it fresh.
well, it's interesting because you just mentioned like all the things going on in the world, and certainly when you hear you talk, you're somebody who seems like you're enjoying life. Yet I look at some of the titles and it feel like hell, can't go on, when the time has come, and I sit there and I say, "Gee, what was going through Robin's mind when he was writing
Yeah,
these lyrics?" Because there's certainly some darker elements to some of these songs. It seems like.
yeah, and I guess I make my boys, if they're ever home at the same time, I'll watch the news. I don't really watch much TV. I'll find a series I like,
Mhm.
but the news is not good news.
No, it's
It's
not.
it's always doomsday, and reporting is so bad. If they can't sensationalize it, what's the point in reporting it? So it's
Hmm.
always this, and I start picking ideas from that, and I pick titles from that, and I'm going, okay, this guy must be in this position here, and he can't go on, and this guy over here is like, he's walking the endless mile, and this guy over here he feels like hell because of all the rest of it.
Hmm.
And so I conjure up all of those titles by what I hear and what I see. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going on with me,
Sure.
but I put myself into somebody else's little shopping basket for the day, and I'm going, now what's in the store today?
Right,
You know,
right.
and
Wow.
there's so much. Sadly, there's so much bad news. It's hard to leave us unscathed and untouched by the whole thing.
No, that's so true. But even to me, listening to the album, it's still a fun, feel good. Like I still feel good. I feel excited listening to
Yeah,
it.
I don't want
So
you to feel down.
no,
I
no,
really want you
definitely
to
not.
take that title and go, at
Nope.
the end of the day, you threw the kitchen sink at me, but live, I'm still here,
Exactly. And that's exactly, I feel you accomplished that big time.
and I'm doing. That's what I'm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, to me, listening to the record, one of the things that sticks out to me right away is, like we just said, you celebrated that big 21st birthday, yet your voice is still as great as ever. Do you ever wake up wondering, gee, is tomorrow going to be the day that I just don't have it anymore? Do you ever worry about that?
Oh, every day,
Every
Mike,
day. Okay.
every day, and how I get over that is I go, oh shoot, but it's not today. It may be tomorrow, but it's not
But
today.
it's not
And
today.
so I take it one day at a time, but um, I take great care of every day in
Mhm.
as much as I can, because I want to be able to sing tomorrow. And if I'm messing up today and I know I have something to do that involves my voice tomorrow, I'm not going to get shit faced tonight going, I'll be just fine tomorrow. You know,
Right.
let's have two more shots of bourbon. I'll just be ready to go. That would not work for me. So,
Sure.
I've never been a smoker ever. Um, if I tour, if I'm recording, if I'm writing, um, I just don't drink. There's some
Mhm.
people that can't exist unless they do that. It doesn't work for me.
Right. Right.
So if I'm on tour for a week or a month or 6 months, alcohol is out,
Right.
and that works for me. Um, I'm the guy that you'll see with the humidifiers and the facial steamers,
Mhm.
and if I don't have to talk, you won't see me talk.
Right. Oh, well,
And that's how I do it, and that it's a little system that works for me. Um, Other people can go out and smoke and drink and, dude, what's your problem, dude?
well, unfortunately, I think so many of the singers that are around for 30, 40, 50 years now have lost a step, even to the point that now some of them rely on, I'll say, backing tracks or enhancements in concerts. So what's your thought on that, and artists having to do that these days?
um, so I had this conversation earlier with actually a vocal coach who was doing a podcast, and we touched on that subject. And I always tell people, first of all, I'm Irish. I'm really stubborn, um, and I have a great sense of pride, and I think an element of dignity. And if I'm sitting or standing on stage performing, and I see even one, but more than one, this guy needs to give up.
Mhm.
Doesn't anybody tell this guy he's not singing? Look, he's using backing tracks. Um, if I see or if I heard that, I'd be so embarrassed because it's so undignified. And if I go to see an artist and or a band because I like their music, and if they're reproducing that music on stage and I don't hear what it is I just heard on my CD or on their vinyl, I'm going, huh? It's not the same band. And
Mhm.
I don't want to hear your wacky version on the night because you're not able to play it like you wrote it.
Sure.
Um, and that's I'm a stickler like that. And so when I do something, and as pompous as this may sound, um, if I write it this way, that's how I'm going to perform it.
Mm.
And that's how I want to do it. And people will come up and go, dude, sounds like the record. And I'm going, that's what I wanted it
Thank
to
you.
sound.
Right.
And if people go, it doesn't sound anything like the record, that's a big no-no.
Mm.
So there's a lot of singers that are going out today that are just not cutting the cheese.
Yep.
And I don't know if they just don't care, or if nobody is telling them, or if they actually think that they still sound great. So there's a confusion there.
Sure.
And is that why they continue to do it? Because they really do think they sound great, when in fact they don't sound that great.
Hmm.
I don't want that to happen to me, Mike.
Well, it's
And
not.
I hope you will be the first to tell me, but I don't want I don't want it to happen.
Well,
So
it's not.
I'm very concerned about that. That's
Mhm.
very important to me, because people pay good money to see the artist,
Yep.
and can't you give them a good show in return? Isn't that your job and your responsibility? And
Amen.
so we're getting serious now, but that's how serious I am about it.
Well,
I am very serious about that. Yeah.
no, and look, yeah, so like you said before, you performed some shows with Michael Schenker last summer, right? And I had you on the show just before you went out to do those shows. And obviously, there's a lot of good publicity from them. How were
Yeah.
those shows for you?
Phenomenal.
Hmm.
They were awesome.
Okay.
It's very difficult, especially in the case of Michael Schenker, for example, because he has a history of singing.
Sure.
So you can't escape the comparison,
Of
you
course.
know. And when you get into a situation like that, when I sing my own songs, I'm completely comfortable in my skin. When I have to sing a Gary or a Graham song, um, then the best that I can do in that scenario is to at least try to keep the integrity of the song and
Sure.
not ruin it, and not give them my version, because they
Hmm.
don't want my version. I'll be singing it, but they need their version with me singing it. And I try to keep the melodies exactly like they wrote them. I don't try to move it and go, well, I'm singing Gary songs, so I'm going to change it.
Right.
No, that's not how it works for me. I
Right.
want it. I want Armed and Ready to sound like Armed and Ready.
Hmm. Do you
You
think you'll
know,
play any more shows with him?
there's some talk about stuff coming up throughout the year, maybe some more recording.
Okay.
Um, Nothing that we've confirmed or set a deadline on yet, but there's always
That's
more.
awesome. That's now
We're
you
not
mentioned
done. We're
that.
not done.
Great. I
Yeah.
love to hear that. You mentioned the Frontiers Festival before, right? So do you think there's a chance ever that somebody like Black Swan could play even one song at a festival like that?
Well, that's an excellent question. So regarding that, um, they've already spoken to me about that, of course,
Awesome.
and how we're going to structure what we do live. Um, and Jeff more or less has said that the way the calendar looks right now,
Mhm.
it may be nigh on impossible for him to be
Hmm.
able to select that time, because Foreigner are deciding to wind down. Reb might be there.
Okay.
He might be there, if not with Winger, with somebody else. He might be there. I've already spoken to Reb, and Reb goes, "If I'm there, we're doing it. I'll be
Hmm.
up there." And for your set, and I've told him about the band. The band is phenomenal.
Yep.
So my set would definitely incorporate Black Swan songs.
Okay.
Um, I hate to say it like this, but whether the guys are there or not, my
Okay.
we will incorporate Black Swan songs into the set.
Well, that's great because that's one of the things, and I'll use the term supergroup. Fans love when these supergroups come together, but then they want to hear the music live, and a lot of times you don't get a chance. So at least it sounds like there'll be an opportunity to hear some of those songs
Yeah,
in a
we
live setting.
it's going down this year. That's all that's to it.
That is awesome. Now, just back to the album for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, in the '80s, when people were putting out albums, people expected gold albums, platinum albums, or more, right? In 2023, unless you're Taylor Swift, you're not selling a million albums. It's just that's the fact, right? So, is there more or less pressure on you as an artist to put out an album and not worry about it being a million albums sold,
Oh,
or do you feel more pressure because you have to live up to your past?
well, I'm not a huge artist. I have no pressure.
Okay.
Um, if anything, it's easier for me because um, I think one of the things that definitely eradicates the pressure is from that period where you release a record, you put a single out, you have to tour it, you must have the radio hit, you must have all of the above to get one or the other or all of the above.
Yep.
I think that's gone. It's been gone for a long time. Um, I just love the fact that I could still put a record out. I love the fact that I mean, the label does a phenomenal job. They promote the crap out of it. Um, if you were to look up on YouTube right now, and if you were to look on my official Facebook page, it's all over. It's everything that I'm doing right now is all from the Black Swan to my solo stuff. It's all over the place. It's up on Spotify. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. It's there's no more that I could do, even if I was with back in the day labels.
True.
And those back in the day labels are, where are they now?
So true.
Whatever happened to that lot?
That is very true.
One of the saddest things that a lot of people come to me about, and it's out of my control, is how come I can't find this MSG period and this McAuley Schenker period and this album on iTunes or even up on Spotify. And when it came to Anytime, we re-recorded the track and put it up on, made it available on iTunes. And I don't know why EMI and or Capitol Records never made it accessible on iTunes or Spotify. I don't know what we would have to do. We would have to go in and re-record everything we've done so that we would take back ownership, I suppose. But it makes little to no sense to me at all why they haven't done what they do with everybody else and just make it available and put it up there, because somebody wants it.
I don't know what the harm would be, like you said, put it on a Spotify or something like that, where you get paid by streams, right? I don't know much about that side of the business, but I can't imagine there's this big overhead cost to get the songs up onto Spotify. So why not do it and have extra income for everybody involved?
That seems the most logical. Oops, the guy's talking sense, so I can't do that.
Oh, I mean, it makes no sense.
I don't understand that. I really don't understand that.
Now, what about your new album? Will it be available on Spotify and every place else? All right, awesome.
Yeah, tracks are already up there.
Yep. Oh, awesome. Very good.
Already up there. Yeah.
Very good. Now, you've had this sequence going on: solo album, Black Swan, solo album, Black Swan. Now, so you're on solo album, which hasn't even come out yet. So forgive me for asking this question, but will there be another Black Swan album after this?
I'm told yes.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
I'm told yes. And so I'm already excited. So if you think I'm busy, I'm going to be more busy.
Well, that's great. I love that. That's really great. So the album's dropping in a couple of weeks. Anything else you want your fans to know about?
February 17th. If you, you can go YouTube, and on YouTube are all of the Frontiers links. If you wanted to pre-order, etc., you can go directly to Frontiers SRL, either through my official page or through their official page, if you want to pre-order. And all of the info, up-to-date info, you can go to robinmccauley.com, which is my official website, Instagram, Twitter, and February 17th is the official release date for the actual record Alive. I just appreciate everything that everybody does. I know you post a lot, and I'm always thanking.
I always notice you. Yes, thank you so much for your.
And I think that's really important. I try to go through everything and like everything and make sure that everybody knows that I'm watching.
Yep.
And I think the acknowledgement is super, super important. So if I missed anybody, it's not intentional, but I eventually will get to everybody. And it doesn't matter how many there are, because if you take the time, I need to take the time back. No. Absolutely. So you need to pay forward, as they say.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, that's great. And I tell everybody, I've heard the advanced copy of the album. I think they're going to absolutely love it. If they enjoyed your last solo album, they've enjoyed the Black Swan albums, they're going to love this. Absolutely love it. Like you said, February 17th. And then also on the Facebook pages and on your webpage, people should look out for those shows that you said that are going to hopefully happen this year as well.
We're posting the hell out of the festivals. Yes, we will.
Awesome. Well, Robin, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with the album, and we'll see you on the road in 2023.
God bless you, Mike. Thank you for your time.
Likewise. Thank you, Robin. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
All righty. There you have it. I'd like to thank Robin for taking some time out of his day to talk with me all about his forthcoming album, Alive. Thanks so much, Robin. I really appreciated it. I know I can say that I think all the fans are going to really love the new forthcoming solo album. Check it out when it's available. I know you guys are going to love it. It was also really exciting to hear what Robin has in store for us in the year 2023. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.